Hey guys, Slimber here, and I decided we should do another PragerU video. Not because I'm uncreative this time and ran out of ideas, but because, well, this video is from an actual neocon, which I was hoping neoconservatism was finally dead, until now, when we've decided apparently we're gonna try to start a fucking war with Iran. So, let's just get right into this goddamn video, shall we? I feel it's relevant.
Should America be the world's policeman?
Nope.
Whenever this question is asked, and it has been asked for nearly 100 years, the answer is usually no. Progressives will say that it suggests American arrogance. Who made America the boss of the world? Many conservatives, especially those with libertarian leanings, will answer that what other countries do to their neighbors, or even to their own people, is of no concern of ours. But here's the question that is almost never asked. What's the alternative?
The alternative is minding our own fucking business. That is the alternative. Unless, and here's the unless we are attacked. In that case, I 100% support going to war. Otherwise, there is no need to go into war.
Well, one answer is the United Nations. That's why the UN was formed after the Second World War, to maintain order and protect human rights. And that's why there are UN peacekeepers around the world. But their record at keeping the peace is abysmal.
Maybe the peace doesn't need to be kept. Maybe we just need to sit back and let the Middle East do their own thing. They want to attack each other? Go for it. You attack America, then we got problems. You attack each other, I don't give a shit. I think that's how we should do things.
To cite just one example, at least 500,000 people were slaughtered in Rwanda in 1994, while UN peacekeepers stood by. Furthermore, the United Nations' nearly 200 members seldom agree on anything. And when they do marshal a peacekeeping force, its numbers are always small, they are poorly armed and highly restricted in their use of the few weapons they do possess. They are much more likely to step aside when faced with aggression than to actively oppose it.
And how are you supposed to be changing my mind here? Yeah, bad shit happens in other countries. Guess what? That's not our job to fix it. You know whose job it is? The people in that country. They need to rise up and do shit about it. It's not our fucking problem. It may sound harsh, but at the end of the day, if it's not happening here, I don't care. I literally don't care and would rather my taxpayer dollars be funded to help me instead of going out into some other fucking country and bombing a bunch of fucking people for oil.
What about dividing the world into spheres of influence? Is that really a good idea?
No, but I mean, it's pretty much already happening, so...
Do we want a world where Russia gets to do what it wants toward democratic neighbors such as Latvia, and Iran dominates its region?
You mean like during the Cold War? Where, guess what? The US was still pretty imperialistic. It is pretty much like it is now. Trying to act like the fucking cop of the fucking world. And that already happened during that time period. In fact, it happens now with Iran. It fucking happens. We do it with other countries near us. That already happens.
And so on? Would such a world lead to peace or to ever more violent competition over the borders of those spheres?
That still happens with American intervention. Have you not seen how Saudi Arabia is with Yemen? Like, what the fuck? Have you not seen how China is with Taiwan? That still happens with American intervention. American intervention is not going to change that. What the fuck? Intervention? What? Apparently I can't speak today. But no, that's not going to fucking change shit.
And of course, there's an idea that if America leaves the world alone, the world will leave America alone.
No, I don't think America would just be magically left alone with no fucking issues. But I do think we'd have more money for domestic things like healthcare, like education. And here's the thing, Like I said, if we're attacked, then fuck, then we attack back if we are attacked. But if we are not attacked, I don't see it as we need to get involved.
If only. The Russian revolutionary Leon Trotsky once said that you may not be interested in war, but war is interested in you.
PragerU, confirmed commies.
You may not be interested in war, but war is interested in you. Great powers don't get to take a vacation and don't get to take themselves off the terrorist target list. So, we quickly come to an inescapable conclusion. The United States is the world's policeman because there is no alternative, and everybody knows it. But what if Americans don't want the job anymore? What if the cop walked off the beat? The answer is clear and well-grounded both in history and current events. When America retreats, the bad guys advance.
Let me flip your mind a little bit. What if we're the bad guys who bomb children and civilians? Ooh! Fuck, this guy's pretty confident we're not the bad guys when we literally started a war with Iraq over weapons they allegedly had. Spoiler alert. They didn't have the weapons! But we started a fucking war with Iraq over that shit. And we're not the bad guys? No. Here's the worst part, right? Here's the worst part of us going into Iraq. We went into Iraq. There was no weapons of mass destruction. None. And there was a report about it. There was one report at first. We were like, nah, there's gotta be weapons of mass destruction. There are still fucking commentators, conservative commentators to this day, that were like, oh, what do you mean there was no weapons of mass destruction?
I am blaming President Bush in 2003 for those fake weapons of mass destruction that never existed and the con job that drove us into that war.
But no, there was none the first time we went. We had to check again, and they were like, oh. Bush was like, I guess there really wasn't the weapons of mass destruction. Well, we're gonna stay in Iraq for another, 7 years anyways. So, what were we in there for those extra years if there was no weapons of mass destruction? Could it be oil?
It's not a coincidence that after the US pulled its troops out of Iraq, Islamic State exploded onto the world stage.
Oh, really? Could that be because we, I don't know, destroyed the government that was preventing them from rising up? Oh! Now, look. Was Saddam a bad dude? Yep, I think he was a bad fucking dude. Was it our business? Nope.
And while it's easy to criticize America for its perceived failures in Vietnam and the first few years in Iraq,
I'm sorry, you mean the whole time we were in Iraq?
What about its obvious successes? After the Second World War ended in 1945, the Soviet Union sought to dominate the world. It failed for one reason. The United States stopped it.
Now, even if you were to give it to America, you could also give it to America as another place they try to intervene on, and it's become an authoritarian oligarchy, by the way.
In 1991, we stopped Saddam Hussein and kicked him out of Kuwait. Later, we intervened to save the Balkans. As I write in my book, America in Retreat, the order the US has provided has not only had enormous security benefits for all the world, it has produced phenomenal economic advantages.
I mean, not for us, though. Not for the American people, it hasn't given us economic advantages. Now, unlike World War II, when people were making fucking planes and shit, yeah, there were some advantages to that. But now all those companies fucking outsource, so, you know.
Global GDP, just 11 trillion in 1980, doubled by the time the Cold War ended a decade later. By 2012, it reached 72 trillion. The debate over the value of an American supervised peace, Pax Americana, should have been settled long ago. But history only settles great debates for as long as people remember the history. Many college students today could barely identify the Soviet Union, let alone explain how its plans to impose communism on nation after nation were defeated.
What? What college did you go to? Who in the fuck doesn't know what the Soviet Union is? This is like the most made up statistic ever.
Americans have lived in a relatively orderly world for so long that many have become complacent about maintaining it.
No. Just because we've lived in a more... It's not been a peaceful world, by the way. We've been in fucking Afghanistan since, what, for almost 20 years now? But no, we're not gonna brush over that. That fucking very clearly... Oh, my hair looks like shit. But that very fucking clearly, very fake statistic you made up about goddamn college students not knowing what the fucking Soviet Union was. Hey, Einstein, they still teach about the fucking Soviet Union in high school. Because guess what? I had to learn about it. I had to learn about it. And this was only 5 years ago? This wasn't that long ago. They still teach about that in U.S. history. What in the fuck? How would anybody get into college not knowing what the Soviet Union is? That fucking statistic is just completely made up. They can't even provide a source for it because they know it is fake. Literally, fuck you, PragerU. Who is dumb enough to believe that? Who would let that just pass by and be like, oh, yeah, they don't know what the Soviet Union is? How did you expect that to just pass by me? Or anybody? That is the dumbest fucking lie I have ever heard in my life.
Perhaps that explains why, in recent years, the United States has adopted a foreign policy that neglects to do the things that have made that orderly world possible. Commitments to global security, military forces adequate to meet those commitments, a willingness to intervene in regional crises to protect allies and to confront or deter aggressive regimes.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we haven't been doing that in Syria, Afghanistan, Libya, bunch of other fucking places, I'm sure. I think the Ukraine we might have gotten involved with. I'll pull up a fucking link in this fucking video so you'll see a fucking screenshot of all the fucking shit we're involved in right now. I'm sorry, no, that's not enough for you, right?
If the world's leading liberal democratic nation doesn't assume its role as world policeman, the world's rogues will try to fill the breach. Then the world would be very much like it was in the 1930s, when Western self-doubt, war weariness, economic turmoil, American self-involvement, and the rise of ambitious dictatorships combined to produce unprecedented death and mayhem.
Yeah, it's only okay when America goes in and bombs a bunch of fucking civilians and children. It's only okay then. Then it's okay. Everybody else? But America? You're good.
Not everyone grows up wanting to be a cop, but no one wants to live in a neighborhood or a world where there is no cop.
Speak for yourself, my guy. I would be 100% fine with no cops being in my neighborhood. I would love it. I would fucking love it.
Would you? I'm Brett Stevens.
He left that "would you" so fucking like as if it was like supposed to make me think, God damn, I would love some cops in my neighborhood. Like, no, motherfucker, I don't want any cops in my neighborhood. Get them all the fuck out. They're all fucking pigs. Get them out. Anyways, what do you guys think? Leave a dislike, call me a hippie piece of shit, and leave a comment. I guess I just told you to. And yeah, subscribe. Slimber out.